Hey, what's up? It's your boy E.T. Look, I was watching the first annual NBA Awards yesterday, and I was just overwhelmed by all of the winners. Just people winning sportsmanship, and the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. The best dunk, the best assist. And I'm sitting here discouraged as I watch that because I know so many people who should be winning. I just know so many people who should be winning right now in their life, and they losing. And listen to me, you're saying, E.T., you got to be perfect. No, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm talking about those people who are defeated before they even get started. So I'm not talking about the person that took the class and failed. I'm not talking about the person that took the exam and failed. And I'm not talking about the person that started the business and it didn't work out. The person that got into the relationship and just weren't the right relationship. That's not who I'm talking about. Like, I'm discouraged because there's a group of people that I talk to daily who are losing, just absolutely losing because they're not even trying. I'm talking about those people who are defeated in their mind already. Like those people who, they won't even get started because they already told themselves they can't win. They won't even take the class because they've already said they failed it. Like, they won't even get in a relationship because, something that happened 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? Something somebody said to them, like something somebody said to them. Are you hearing me? Like you got greatness in you. You have so much potential in you. There's so much you're gonna get done in life if you would just get started. And you're telling me that somebody told you 10 years ago, or a conversation you had 20 years ago with somebody is stifling you right now, is stopping you right now. You're telling me something about some class you took 8 years ago that didn't work out, some business opportunity, or somebody did something to you or stole something from you 10 years ago, and you still on that today? And so listen to me, here's the deal. Westbrook wasn't the only candidate for the MVP. There were other individuals that were also candidates for the MVP, but I don't think they lost. Right? I don't think they lost because they still accomplished greatness because they went out every single night and they put in work. So I need you to do me a huge favor. All right? I need you to think about what you're thinking about. All right? I need you to think about what you're thinking about. I need you to think about what's stopping you. Like, let's forget you getting stopped. I need you to think about what you're thinking about. All right? This is important. Right? I need you to think about, I need you to picture it. Right? And then I need you to choose to think about what you want to create in this life. Not what happened to you, not what somebody said about you. Like, I want you to think about what you want to create. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And then I want us to move toward that. All right? I want you to move toward that. I want you to picture in your mind if it was a perfect world, and you was a winner, you just, everything you touched turned to gold, what would that look like? And instead of picturing that conversation you had 10 years ago, instead of thinking about that person that hurt you, instead of thinking about that thing that didn't work out, I want us to picture what would work out. Like, I want you to put all your energy in what would work, right? And what would that look like? And I want us to move toward that. Why? Because you control what you picture. I can think positive. I will think positive. I must think positive. Listen to me. I can control my thinking. I will control my thinking. I must control my thinking. Listen to me. I can win. I will win. I must win. So it's your boy E.T. saying, you control what you picture. So picture only what you want to happen.
5 rituals that predict success. These are 5 SOPs, standard operating procedures, that I encourage you to wire into your daily life through consistent practice. Because as you know so well, consistency is the mother of mastery. It's not what you do once every year that is going to allow you to live a legendary life. It's what you do every single day. Which brings me to ritual number 1, the ritual of early rising. The way you begin each day sets up the way you live each day. I mean, the Spartan warriors said it so well. Sweat more in training, bleed less in war. And if you want to be literally undefeatable in business, literally unstoppable in life, you really want to dial in your morning routine. And so you want to do things like starting the day sweating, because that releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that repairs brain cells from stress. You want to sweat because that's going to increase your metabolic rate, which is going to give you energy. And we live in a world where energy is even more valuable than intelligence. You want to, in your morning routine, take the time to write in a journal so you actually can detect your values, reconnect with your goals each day, get to know yourself even more, because awareness is the beginning of transformation. And you want to get your morning routine right so you take some time at the front end of your day to learn, because as you learn more, you know you're going to achieve more. And as you understand better, you can achieve larger. Which brings me to the second ritual that will predict your success, and it's the ritual of strategic time blocking. So you can tell me that excellence matters to you, that productivity is a value that you adore, that being great in business is important to you, that being a world-class family woman or family man is an imperative for you, but show me your schedule and I'll get a sense of your true values. I mean, your schedule each day really does predict the rest of your life. So it's not about what you talk about, it's about what you actually schedule. And the things that we schedule are the things that get done. And I'm going to repeat that again because it's so important. But the things that you schedule are the things that get done. There's something absolutely powerful about taking out a written piece of paper, and I like writing it, and having that map right in front of you. It's almost like a war sheet. You're like a warrior, and every day is a battle, but obviously a positive battle, a productive battle. But you literally start to schedule out every single day. And I do it on Sunday mornings. It's like a sacred routine that I do. And I take out this piece of paper and I literally do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I call this my blueprint for a beautiful week. And actually, you don't need a formal template. You can do it in your journal. You can do it on any piece of paper. You can do it on a big piece of paper so you see it all day. And again, I like writing it out because if I put it in my digital device, I forget about it. I'm a very visual type of a person, like a lot of creative people. And so what I do is, this is the ritual of strategic time blocking. I block out times at the office with my team. I block out times in creative work. I actually block that out. I block out times for beautiful family dinners with my loved ones. I block out my 2 massages every week. I call this my 2 massage protocol. It's really a great source of staying on the top of my game and having tons of energy. I block out my 5 a.m. routines. And literally, after this process, it takes me about 45 minutes to do, like I say every Sunday morning, I have blocked out my highest priorities. And so now I have a visual template, a visual map for a world-class week. So the second ritual that will predict your success is the ritual of strategic time blocking. Why? Because the things that get scheduled are the things that get done, and vague goals lead to vague results. But with precision of these time blocks and a very detailed schedule, you will do remarkable things in your week. Which brings me to the third ritual that will predict your success, the ritual of over-delivering. It is so rare in business and in society right now to see people that consistently go the extra mile. You're in a restaurant, the server generally gives you what you expect or less than what you expect. You go into a clothing store, it's what you expect or less than what you expect. You do business with any organization, it's generally delivering on what you expect, but more often, even less. So you have a gorgeous opportunity to lead the field in everything that you do by doing one thing, practicing every single day, because it's a muscle, the ritual of over-delivering. Don't just give your customers what they expect, give them 10x more than what they expect. Don't just give your organization what your manager, what your boss, what the organization is expecting from you. Show something that is so rare in today's economy. Initiative. Initiative. So you're asked to do a project, give them 5 more things than they expect. You're asked to give a presentation on something, go the extra mile. consistently dial in the daily habit of over-delivering on people's expectations, and guess what? You become a merchant of wow. You become indispensable to your organization. I wrote a book a little while ago called The Greatness Guide, and one of the chapters talked about the importance of being indispensable. And I learned that when I was a young lawyer. And I remember talking to my mentor. And I asked my mentor, you know, the top litigator at this firm, how come he is the icon of the legal profession in this region? And my mentor looked at me and said, Robin, because that person is indispensable to this firm. Well, how do you do that? By practicing the ritual of over-delivering every single day for the rest of your life. Which brings me to ritual number 4 that will definitely predict your success, the ritual of daily learning. And I call this the 60-minute student. The 60-minute student. No matter how busy you are, no matter what's on your plate, you absolutely must, if you want to be legendary in your marketplace, you absolutely have to do this. Schedule 60 minutes a day for your learning. It could be listening to audiobooks. It could be the next day listening to a podcast. It might be reading quietly. It might be writing in a journal, because writing in a journal about what you're learning, what you learned from your day, what you're learning from your life, that is learning. But 60 minutes a day, I absolutely challenge you with great love and respect. Wire it into your day, because that ritual will allow you to know more about your field than anyone who's ever done your field in the history of the world. I mean, education is inoculation against disruption. And as you know more, you can achieve more. And we do live in a world where there is such a fascination with entertainment. You know, and everyone loves pretty pictures. And it's really easy to spend the best hour of your best days looking at what your friends are eating. And I'm suggesting to you, you think like a student, because you're watching this mastery session because something deep within you wants you to be the master of your game. And here's the thing about every master. Every master thinks like a beginner. They're always learning. I mean, when I look at the masters, they are like, how did that person do that? I'm trying to deconstruct how that icon of the field does it. I'm always reading. I'm always going to conferences. I'm always having conversations with people I can learn from. So remember, the 4th ritual to predict your success is the ritual of daily learning. And don't just do this once a month, daily. Because as I said at the beginning, consistency is the mother of mastery. Which brings me to the 5th ritual, the ritual of private reflection. Well, it's very easy to be busy being busy. But let me ask you, what's the point of being really busy in your work life or your personal life if you're busy around the wrong things? I mean, it makes no sense to spend the best hours of your finest days climbing these mountains only to realize on the last hour of your last day, you climbed the wrong ones. And so what is the antidote to busyness and being reactive? It's reflection. And it's not really common in our world right now. You know, 100 years ago, we would spend a lot of time on the farm. I mean, there wasn't a lot of technology. We spent a lot of time in reflection, you know, taking these long walks, writing in a journal, having conversations with intimate friends where we would reflect on deeper things. And I'm simply suggesting to you that the 5th ritual that will absolutely predict your success is how much time you spend in silence, solitude, and stillness. Just thinking about how you're living, thinking about how you're working, thinking about whether your daily behavior is aligned with your deepest values, thinking and reflecting about what you want your legacy to be, thinking and reflecting about what's your impact through the work you're doing. Here's a great thing to reflect on. Ask yourself this question or write about it in your journal. What is the one project that if I did it flawlessly over the next 3 months would literally change the game for me within my organization and within my marketplace? But if you look at the people who are getting traction on great results, they are people who spend a lot of time alone. And they spend a lot of time thinking. And they spend a lot of time in this ritual of reflection. Okay, I hope this mastery session has been interesting, fascinating, but remember, as I often say to you, ideation without execution is nothing more than delusion. And so you want to take at least one of the 5 rituals and absolutely find the time to practice it today. Because when you do that, it's the beginning of a whole new way of working, a whole new way of living, and a whole new way of impacting the world that we live in. And our world has never needed heroes the way that we need heroes right now. And I'm looking to you to do your part, to be the hero of your own life, so together we build a better world.
Are there people in your life who are always complaining and blaming others for their circumstances? Who are always judging others, spreading negative gossip and talking about how bad it is? Who constantly attempt to bring you back down to their level? Dream stealers who tell you that your dreams are impossible and try to dissuade you from believing in and pursuing your goals? Well, until you reach the point in your self-development where you no longer allow toxic people to hold you back with their victim mentality and their mediocre standards, you have to free yourself from their negative influences at all costs. And if you're going to be great, you have to start spending more time with great people. So I want you to make a conscious effort to surround yourself with positive, nourishing, and uplifting people who believe in you, encourage you to go after your dreams, and who applaud your victories. Now, the next obstacle that can be holding you back from greatness is not letting go of the past. You know, most people go through life as if they're dragging a big anchor behind them that's weighing them down. They're holding on to past hurts, past incompletes, past anger or fear. And releasing this anger in the present is the final step to embracing the future. I have students who've forgiven their parents and just in a few months have doubled their income, as well as doubled their productivity and doubled their ability to accomplish important goals. In business, family, and personal relationships, you need to make the choice to come from a place of love and forgiveness. You don't need to condone their past actions or even ever to trust them again. You just need to learn whatever lessons you can take away from the experience, forgive the other person, and just move on. And when you forgive, it puts you back in the present without all the emotional baggage that you've been carrying, and from where you can now forge ahead and create the future you want. Another key concept I want you to get is that creating your future means dealing with change. If you don't embrace change, you're also holding yourself back from greatness. So let's face it, change is inevitable. The earth is changing, the weather changes, the economy changes, technology changes, our leaders change, even the cells in your body are constantly changing. At this very moment, that's going on. Now, you can either resist change and eventually get run over by it, or you can choose to cooperate, adapt, and benefit from it. So take a moment now and think back to a time when you experienced a change that you had to deal with and you thought it was the worst thing to ever happen to you. Perhaps it was a move or a job transfer, being fired, going through a divorce, or a disruptive change in technology that occurred. What happened once you surrendered to the change? I bet you could look back now and say, wow, I'm actually really glad that happened. Look at the good it eventually brought me. Perhaps it required you to grow, to develop new qualities like courage or assertiveness, creativity, or asking for help, or persevering in the face of obstacles. Perhaps you ended up in a better career, or maybe you ended up in a much more positive and nurturing relationship. Remembering this will allow you to approach change with the excitement and the positive anticipation you should. Expecting the best rather than the worst is a mental choice that you are in charge of. Lastly, your limiting beliefs about your own capabilities, what it takes to succeed, and how you should relate with other people could be holding you back from greatness. You know, one of the most destructive limiting beliefs we can have is thinking that we're not capable of accomplishing our goals. You might be thinking or saying, I just can't do that. I don't know how. I don't have anyone to show me. I don't know the right people. I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm not old enough. I'm too young. Whatever it is, don't believe that. Many people don't believe that they are competent to handle life's challenges or that they are worthy of love. And these two beliefs are the two main pillars of high self-esteem. And as I've said before, these are just beliefs. And beliefs are just thoughts that you think over and over and over again. And you can consciously choose to think a different thought. And then you can use the power of habit to consciously keep thinking that new thought by repeating it as an affirmation, posting it on your bathroom mirror or your refrigerator, or making it into your screensaver. All it requires is a conscious intention and the power of repetition. Believing that you're capable of handling anything that comes up in your life means that you will become fearless. Now consider this. Haven't you handled everything that has ever happened to you so far? The death of a loved one, a divorce, being broke, the loss of a friend, job, your money, your reputation, your youth. Well, these were all temporary, and no matter how painful or challenging, you survived them and you're surviving them now. You're still here, and you have the time and the resources to be watching this right now. So remember, once you believe that you deserve better and that you do have the ability to create your life the way you want it, your confidence will begin to soar and you will do whatever it takes, one step at a time, to create that for yourself.
I made in my mind as a young guy, I wanted to become world-class at something. I just had to find out what the something was going to be. And the very first time that I walked into a Wall Street trading room, I knew this is it. The ticker tape is rolling, the phones are ringing off the hook, people are screaming and shouting out orders, bodies are flying all over the place, and what looked like chaos to anybody else, I could see the natural rhythm in it. It was like I was reading a sheet of music, and I knew this is where I'm supposed to be. I kept coming back. I wore one branch manager down to the point that he says to me, Gardner, based on persistence alone, we're gonna give you a shot. Man, I quit my job. That was all I wanted. I went home and I told my ex, you know what? You said I couldn't do it, but guess what? I started in 2 weeks. I was pretty pumped up. All the way up to the point. I show up on the appointed day and time, only to find out the gentleman who had made me the commitment had been fired the previous Friday. Nobody knew who I was, why I was there, and did not care. In California, when you quit your job, that means no unemployment insurance, no income, no benefits, and worse than that, the worst thing is now I gotta go home and tell this woman I don't have a job. If you don't remember anything else I say here today, remember this. Unemployment will not help your relationship. Somebody know what I'm talking about. I know you do. Think about it. We're a young family. We got a baby. She's a doctor who can't practice. I'm the breadwinner, and I quit my job thinking I'm going to Wall Street. Things got tough at home. Things got tense. I still had one shot left at the street. But before I can play it all the way out, I still got to take care of my family, which meant I did everything legal that I could to take care of my family and still pursue my last shot at the street. I cut grass, hauled rubbish, cleaned basements. I learned roofing, I learned painting. I did everything that I could to take care of my folks and still pursue my last shot at the street. Had a situation at home, things were tense. Had a problem, something happened, probably never happened to anybody in this room but me. I had one of those arguments with my ex that only ended because we both fell asleep. Now somebody know what I'm talking about. I know you do. We woke up in the morning, everybody's feet hit the floor, and guess what? We went at it again. The neighbors don't know what might happen, what could happen, what's going on. They call the police. The police come, they want to make sure everything is fine, take her over here, calm her down, talk to her, take me outside, calm me down, talk to me. And one of my friendly Berkeley police officers doing his job says, do you mind if I search your car? No, sir, go ahead, no problem. Searches the car, nothing. Then again, doing his job says, well, let me just run this license plate through a computer. That was it. With interest, I had $1,200 in unpaid parking tickets, all of which I'd accumulated the previous year trying to interview in downtown San Francisco. Double parking, illegal parking, late to feed a meter. An honest question would be, you knew you had the tickets, why didn't you pay them? Well, you know what? The position I was now in, having to cut grass to put food on the table, every dollar that came in the door, I had to make a decision. I could pay the rent or I can pay the tickets. I did probably what every man in this room would have done. I paid the rent. I was taken to jail. First, last, only time in my life taken to jail for parking tickets. And to show you how a bad day can get worse, all of this happens on a Friday, which means no court until Monday, which also means we cannot hold you in this friendly little downtown Berkeley jail. We need this for our regular weekend customers. I was sent to a place called Santa Rita State Penitentiary, where the most notorious inmate had chopped 23 people to death with an axe. And I'm in here on parking tickets. 10 days. And I know somebody out there thinking about it. Let me tell you something. If y'all got some parking tickets, you need to get up and walk out of here right now. I know you're thinking about it. But for 10 days, all I could think about is, does my little boy know I didn't leave him like my father left me? Does my son know I can't be there because of the circumstances? What's my ex say when my little boy looks at her and says, "Where's Papa?" I was the first thing this boy saw when he came into the world. I was the first thing he saw every morning. I was the last thing he saw every night. And if you've never been forcefully separated from your child, that's an experience that I will pray you never have. Something more pressing was happening. My last shot at Wall Street, my last opportunity was set up the day before I'm to be released from prison. Something happened and nothing or anyone will ever convince me it was anything other than the hand of God. There was a telephone and there was a prison guard. And I said to this guard, I got this one opportunity to work at one of the finest firms on Wall Street. I've been pursuing this for 1 year. I've got to reschedule this one appointment. Will you please let me make this call? No hesitation, without thinking. The guy dials the number and hands me the handset and the cord behind the bars. And the conversation is brief and to the point. "Mr. Costello, hey, it's Chris Gardner. Something has come up. Can we reschedule? Blah, blah, blah. Set it up day after tomorrow. Beautiful." You ever know something in your gut? I'm released from prison. State of California satisfied. Something told me. You ever just not need somebody to tell you something? You just knew it. I went to the place we used to call home in Berkeley, California. And I looked through the window. And I knew they were gone. This chick took everything but the dust. Most importantly, she had taken my little boy. But I still had to go on this job interview. In the film, you saw Will Smith show up wearing blue jeans with paint all over him. I wasn't just wearing blue jeans, I was wearing bell-bottom blue jeans. I show up at Mr. Costello's front door and he says exactly what I would have said to anyone who shows up at my front door 6:30 in the morning dressed like that. Delivery's in the rear. I would have said the same thing. But I come right back at him and I explain, "Mr. Costello, I'm Chris Gardner. Today is the biggest day of my business career. I must admit, I'm underdressed for the occasion." So, yeah, you got that right. What happened? I could not think of a lie bizarre enough. I told the truth. It was the best thing I could have done. Turns out, Mr. Costello had been married and divorced 3 times. He started telling me stories about his ex-wives. And that second one, man, I don't know why he ever got married again. He told me some stuff about her. And out of nowhere, he says, "You be here tomorrow morning, I will personally walk into the trading room." Beautiful, getting my shot. That's all I wanted. I'm hired. Base salary, $1,000 a month gross. I move into a boarding house, Oakland, California, all I can afford. 3 meals a day and a room. My days as a trainee were the same as they were for every other trainee who's ever started at the bottom on Wall Street. You do the one thing the brokers do not want to do or feel is beneath them, which is cold call. Turned myself into a cold call machine 200 times a day. I don't know if you guys in the back can see this, but in the front, see how this one finger is cockeyed? That's my calling finger. 200 times a day. And at night, study, study, study. And at night, the pain. When will I see my son? How much longer will this go on? My ex and I, unfortunately, were in that space where sometimes the adults start acting like children. And one parent feels like if the only way I can hurt you is to hit you over the head with the baby, I'm going to do it. My ex also began a campaign of what I can only call emotional terrorism. Will call on the phone and let me hear my little boy scream and cry and hang up the phone. Now, this was before star 69 and caller ID. Somebody in here might agree with me. When it comes to your children, you got caller ID in your heart. There could be a room full of a dozen babies crying, and you know if that's your baby or not. Put it out of my mind, study, 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 pass my exam, highest score in the class, big deal. My reward, I get to come back the next day and make another 200 phone calls. This goes on for months. And one night, 1 in the morning, there's a knock at the door. And you know who that is? It's my ex. And the conversation is brief and to the point. I can't do this anymore. Here, it's your turn. Just like that, that's how we became homeless.